Well, thank you very much for the introduction. We're just coming off the practice field here, and we do have, Brad, we have video, or, hold on here. We'll get it up and running here. There we go. There we go. Well,
the legacy was built.
I'm not done. I'm not ready yet. Don't start it yet. So I got up this morning. I'll give you guys a little story. So I got up this morning. All right. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's blonde, but I got a little bit of something going on here, some growth. And about a week before we started fall camp, I'm giving this speech to the guys because we're leading into fall camp. It's summertime, and I think it's a great speech. I'm motivated. They're nodding their heads. And I finish with, and all we're going to do is football all day and grow beards. And the thing, they go, grow beards! Was the only thing they took from what I said. So I spoke at a deal about a week ago. I shaved. They got upset with me. I said, I won't do it again. They were like, you said grow beards. So I said, all right, we'll grow beards. Not that many of them can. So 18 to 24. All right, if you guys remember that age. I mean, it's not they're not the sharpest out there. But all right, well, you know, I wanted to talk to you guys. I know we're talking about culture, and this is really important for what we do, what everybody does. And I think it all applies. We do it. We talk through football terms. You know, we always talk about football is life, life is football, and so on. But the things that we talk about with our pyramids and the way that we approach the game is really the same way you approach life. It's no different. And these guys aren't going to play the rest of their life. The game, no matter how good you are, you will finish playing at some point. And football is just not a sport that you go pick up recreational, put the pads on, and go play. You just don't do that. So when you're done, you're done. And after that, you've got to take these things and carry them on to your personal life, into your family life, marriages, and your business life, and so on. And it's all about the type of culture that you're in. And really, you know, in my opinion, I mean, I think culture eats strategy. I really do. I think you've got all these great ideas. We have a lot of great coaches. You know, we talked about Mike Sanford, the offensive coordinator, who will call all the plays. So if you guys are upset about something, it's his fault, not mine. But, you know, there's strategy and all. There's a lot of smart coaches in there. But if our kids don't believe in what we're doing, or we don't have a culture that creates that mindset they have to have, we're not going to be very successful. It doesn't matter. And I've been a part of that. I've been on both sides of that too. I mean, we mentioned some different places I've been. I've been where the culture is really good. While I was here, I've been at a place where the culture wasn't good, and we're trying to reestablish it, and that's very difficult. And it's frustrating for people that want it to be right, and others that don't, or not willing to put the work in to get it right. And so, you know, I think that's the most important thing that we can have within our program is going to be that culture. And we spend a lot of time talking to it. So as I go over this presentation with you, the things that we talk about in our team meetings on a nightly basis, I mean, right now we're doing football from 6 in the morning till about 11 o'clock at night. And that's really it, besides growing beards. I mean, it's those two things. And so, you know, you're not hitting the whole time, and you're not just coaching the whole time. You're also talking about life skills, and you're trying to make an impact on these guys in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different phases, you know, as they go through. The freshmen, you know, they're all in there right now. They're a bunch of goofballs and trying to figure it out. And then you got the seniors that understand, you know, what's going on a little bit better, and everything in between. And really what I hope we are able to accomplish through fall camp is we create the culture for this season. I don't know what it's going to be like when the season's over. I just know what we need to create now and what we have to continue to establish week in and week out. And it'll change a little bit. I think culture's got to have flexibility. I don't think it can just be one certain thing. It's got to have some flexibility in it because things change. The environment changes. People change. But the core of it really doesn't. The core of it, for the most part, stays the same, and then people adapt to that or they get out. So no video here. I'll go right into the first topic here. So this is our goal, and you have to have that. This gives us direction here. Our goal is to win the Mountain West Conference Championship and a bowl game, and do it with class, do it with integrity, and do it with academic excellence. That's our goal. That gives us direction. Our goal is to win. Our goal is to win our conference. That's what we have to do. That's what we want to accomplish. That gives us our purpose of where we're going, all right? And for 18-year-olds, and many of us, you know, they're still trying to find their direction, so you got to give them direction. Or within your company, you got to give them direction. Where are we going? What are we doing? What are we about? What are we trying to focus on? Well, we're trying to win our conference, and we're going to win our bowl game. We play in it. Okay, well, how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to do it with class. All right, we're going to represent our program the right way. We're going to represent each other in this room the right way. We're going to do it with integrity. Well, what's that, Coach? There's nothing to do with integrity on the field. You're right. It's everything that you do off the field. Can we trust you behind closed doors? Are you doing things that your mom, your coaches, and people would be proud of? Or are you doing things you don't want people to find out about? Because if you're doing them, they're going to find out. So don't do them. And then academic excellence. You know, we're really simple in our program. The guys are here to do two things. They're here to graduate and here to help us win championships. And then in between, they're going to learn a lot of life lessons and build a lot of great relationships with people and have great experiences. But they're here to graduate and they're here to help us win championships. That's simple. And this gives us that direction of where we're going. So now we've got something to focus on. From there, we got to have a mentality that goes with it. Okay, well, we're going to focus on our goal. We know what we want to do. All right, well, what's the mentality we have to have? And I think this one now, this is probably one of the most difficult ones to really get across to people is what type of mentality, because everybody's not the same. And everybody's got differences, and everybody has things in their life going on that other people don't know. Personal things, professional things, and so on. But at the same time, there's got to be that component. When you show up and you get together, there's got to be a mentality. Otherwise, you have a weak link in there, and you're not going to get it. And eventually, that weak link, if they're not dismissed or excused, is going to drag the others down. And our mentality, real simple, because we're talking football here, 4th and 1. You guys have all watched football games. And first down, oh, it's great. You're getting chips and all that and pop and stuff. Second down, a little more serious. Third down, you're glued in. And fourth down, I mean, everybody's focused on the TV. You go back to the Fiesta Bowl in 2006, 4th and 18. Some of you missed it, all right? Some of you didn't. But 4th and 18, everybody was glued in. That was a mentality. And if you looked at that from a coaching perspective, it wasn't so much the scheme. The scheme is something that's not unique by any means. It's how it was executed with the mentality that the players executed it with. And they were able to accomplish it. And then the rest of the game from there, we all know how that turned out, really because of that mentality. And so for us, it's 4th and 1. There's a sense of urgency. There's a purpose in there. There's no complacency. That's one thing that, you know, when you talk to guys and when you don't have successful seasons, and, you know, around here, we understand the standards and the expectations. And if you're not winning at all, you know, we understand that. You know, that's something that we shoot for every year. That's a Boise State standard, and I've been able to be a part of that and very fortunate. And so we understand that. But when you go back and you talk to guys about, you know, things that might have happened, there's complacency, lack of effort, things that don't apply to a 4th and 1 mentality. And so that, to me, in this particular phrase right here, you know, when I actually sat down on my interview with Mark Coyle, and you know, I got in about midnight the night before, and got up about 4:30 in the morning, interviewed about 6, and we're going through, you know, some of the questions that they have, and I've got one sheet of paper. I don't have a manual. I don't have a book. I just got one sheet of paper. It's front and back. It's on cardstock, and it just has bullet points on there with certain things that I believe in, and that's really all I know. I don't know much more than that, and then I wanted to make sure that I don't mess it up, so this is what I know. And on there was this here, that we need to approach it with the 4th and 1 mentality. And after the fact, you know, when everything went down, you know, I know that stuck with him, you know, was, hey, that 4th and 1. And you never know, you know, where people are at, you know, with the way they think about their program and things like that. But the 4th and 1 was a big thing for me, and that carried over to our team. And we talk about that, and we hit on it, and it's a mentality, and it's a way that we do things. Okay, so you got a goal, you got a mentality, you need to have a style. And if you guys can read this here, this is really what we're working on right now. This is our style. All right, championship football, what we believe. All right, and for the most part, everybody's got something a little bit different, you know, at their programs. It might mean something different to Ohio State. But for us, championship football means these things here. It starts in the weight room, superior strength and conditioning. All right, that we're putting in the time and the work for the 36 hours we actually get to go out there and play the game and get judged on. So they put a lot of time in for 36 hours, that's 3 hours a game, 12 games a year, to go out there and be judged. And when it's all said and done, what matters? Win or loss. That's what matters. And so they want to be prepared for that. Well, what we're doing right now is prepping ourselves to go out there and have a great season, to learn our systems, to learn what we need to get done, to understand how we want to do it, and to understand the details of how we want to get that done. What's our technique? What's our assignment? All right, what are some of the tricks of the trades? And if you sit in these coaches' meetings, we have a lot of professors really teaching these guys, and it's very impressive. They're very meticulous about the notes that they have their players take. They're very good about what they have organized for their meetings, the film they show them, the way they prepare them, the questions they ask. The learning environment's fantastic. And so our guys are getting a chance to learn that. But in order to get all that done, we've got to be conditioned mentally, and we've got to be conditioned physically in order to go play the game, because that's what football is. It's a physical game. There's a lot of one-on-one battles. Can you win versus your opponent? That simple. And so this summer and even leading back into off-season, these guys spent a tremendous amount of time working on their bodies, nutrition. We have a full-time nutritionist. We have shakes for these guys after every workouts. We have the snack shack down in the weight room where they got bananas, nuts, bagels, cream cheese, peanut butter. That was a big hit. All right, it came lately. But they're taking care and conditioning themselves to go out there and perform at a high level. And so it starts there, and then we break it down from there. What's great defense? And it starts with defense. Now, I'm an offensive-minded guy, all right? I'm learning the defense, but I've always been a little bit negative towards them, all right? But I'm getting better at it. And so, and I make my way over there to the defensive side and encourage those guys. But it all starts there. Being an offensive guy is very simple. If you can't score, you're not going to win. And so on the defensive side, well, how do we do that? We stop the run. Because as a quarterback coach, you can throw on air and not be 100%. Let's not worry about the pass game right now. Let's worry about stopping the run. That's where you can get gutted and get killed in a game. All right, let's create turnovers on defense. So those two things, when we practice, all right, we keep the main thing the main thing. What are we trying to get done? We're trying to stop the run and create turnovers. Did we do that on a daily basis so we don't confuse our kids? Did we do that? Yes or no? Now, there's a lot more things that go along with it, but did we stop the run and did we get turnovers? It's a yes or no answer. It's really that simple. That stays along with being consistent with our goals and with our mentality. It keeps a consistency among the coaches and the players. Attacking offense, tempo, physical run game, creativity, and fun. Well, we want to play with some pace. You know, that's one of the things that teams are doing now. So we want to create a tempo. Okay, we want to go out there and be physical. All right, we want to have creativity on the offensive side, so the encouragement of coaches to come up with something that's just a little bit different that they may have seen and maybe put a little tweak or twist to it. And we want to have fun. I think that's been a signature of Boise State over the years has been the offense and just some of the fun it's created, and it's exciting to watch. We like to still continue that with the goal of going out there and winning the game. All right, but these are things that have made us who we are, and we want to continue to do that. So we emphasize that on a daily basis. Where are we doing those things? And then last, special teams, simplicity, fundamentally sound. In special teams for us, it's not a difficult assignment. What we want to do is make it simple for our guys, and we want to give them a great technique to go out there and execute it and beat a man they're going to go against. If we prepare harder, it's a one-on-one battle, man on man. Can you beat him with your technique? So let's make it sound and simple. Give our guys a chance to go out there and use their physical tools in order to beat these guys. And so those things there, that gives us our style. So now we've got a goal. We know what we're doing. We have a mentality that we want to bring along with it. Now we have a style that we're going to do it in. And we're going to be consistent in how we approach that. And we're going to talk about those things. And not only are the players going to know it, the coaches are going to know it. And I think one of the best things we do in our meetings is I have a team meeting every day. It's usually about 10 minutes. I touch on something, and when we break, the coaches go immediately back and they touch on it again. Because they make it now, it's not just important to me as the head coach, it's important to them as assistant coaches. It's got to be important to their players. And so I think we've done a good job so far of speaking the same language within our building. And guys, whether they agree or disagree, when there's a final decision made, we go out there and we execute it like it's our own. And our kids buy into that. They see how we work as a unit as coaches. If we're out there bickering at each other and all that, then our players are going to be no different. If we're collectively as a group working together, our players will do the same thing. So it starts from the top, and we've got to work it down into the players so they understand it. Eventually, that part now with culture will start to become what the seniors believe and how they act. And then when the freshmen come in, the seniors in the summer will have them, and by the time we get them and we start camp, they figured it out because the seniors know how important those things are. Some game changers now, those three things, you put them all together. You got goal, you got mentality, and you've got a style. And I think these are game changers, and I think these are game changers in whatever you do. And these are really what I explain to our players. This is my hope for our entire program, are what we call game changers. And the first one, we all work to our full potential every day. Think about that, all right? You're trying to be the best version of yourself every single day, all right? Is it always that way? No. All right, in order to be good at what you do and be consistent, you need to have very few bad days. Doesn't mean you don't have any, you just have very few, because we all have bad days. But just think about you individually working to the fullest of your potential, all right, which takes discipline, and that's really what discipline is, turning potential into reality. But think about our whole entire program or your unit or your company, all right, this department, all working to their full potential every day. Why wouldn't you? If you don't like what you do, you shouldn't do it. So why not go out there and do it to the very best of your ability every single day? It's amazing what happens. We invest our time in this program, not just spend it. You know, and I've been around guys and at places I've been, I've only been a couple, you probably figured it out, but at places I've been, there's guys that have spent their time and not invested. And this is a program where the coaching staff, if you look at a lot of those guys, you know, we've got about 70% of our coaches are former players. They've invested their time. And because of that, they've been out in other opportunities, wanted to come back and be a part of it again. And so I think if we can do that, if we can invest our time and not just spend it, we're going to get a lot more out of it with the people that are around you and the organization that you're in. And I really believe that. And I think that if we have that mindset every day and we go and invest into it, well, you know what, figure it out. If you don't like it, get out. If not, invest it and you're going to get a lot more out of it than you think. We manage the easy and excel in the major. All right, this is a big one, okay? I told you, these guys are not developed quite yet, okay? So what are the easy things? Be on time. That's simple. Just be on time. That's 90% of the issues that are created with our football program is if you're late. If you're there and you have no idea, which most of the time they don't, at least they're there, we tell them everything. And we walk them right through it. Manage the easy. Be on time. Have your gear. Be ready to go. Bring a lunch with you. Manage the easy things and then excel in the major stuff, fundamentals, knowing your stuff, schemes, the details. But if we can't get over managing the easy, we're not going to be the type of team we want to be. We're not going to have the culture we're going to want to be because all we're doing is exercising rules. And if you have the right people, you don't need a whole lot of rules. So manage the easy. And we spend a lot of time on that. We're not there yet. We're not there yet, but we know we're a whole lot better than we were in spring. And I like that. We keep the main thing the main thing. Very little distractions. All right, what are the main things? Graduate, win championships. Talking football. Keep the main thing the main thing. I think so often, you know, and I know in my position, there's so many little ticky-tack things that come up. This guy here, that guy, you know, and that's why manage the easy and having good people around you makes a whole lot of difference. okay, when they understand that. But we're trying to keep the main thing the main thing. You know, my main thing is just coach the team. That's the main thing. Just coach the team. There's things that we have to do outside of that. There's opportunities to come speak. There's chances to see donors and be with people. There's people to see outside the program. But the main thing is coach the team. That's really when it comes down to it. And so when I wake up in the morning and I've got a lot going on, I try to refocus and just coach the team. That's the bottom line. And to make sure that after the practice is over and guys have gotten yelled at a little bit, I'm in the locker room loving them up. Try to go over there and see them when they're eating. How's your mom? How's your dad? How you doing? You okay? Got some freshmen right now that just got that puppy dog eyes like I'm done and ready to go home. And you got to get them through that. If they can make it through the first year, they're going to be fine. They won't leave. But if they don't, if you let them go and neglect them, they're going to be out of here. And you lose a pretty good person and player. So try to keep the main thing. And that's different for everybody. But if you can focus on that, we're going to be a whole lot more successful. And then we talk about learn to play the game from the inside out. You know, and this is your passion. All right? I think this is your conviction. This is where it comes from. All right? And the bottom line is there's something that we all need to have. We got to have personal growth. I think when we're developing ourselves as people, that's just naturally, I think, what we're designed to do. We're designed to get better, and we want to get better, and that's personal growth. And once you have a purpose and a passion and you feel that way, then you're going to be better, and you're going to be excited about what you do. You're going to start doing things from the inside out and not just doing and punching a clock and going in there and doing your work because you got a scholarship or whatever. You're starting to do it because you love it. And when you're doing something because you love it, none of it really matters after that. Not the money, not the situation, not the status and things like that. You're doing it because you love doing it. And eventually, you focus on the love for what you're doing, and all the other things come with that. And I really think it's that simple. And if you focused on what's next and what you want next, I've been there before, and I've focused on that. And, hey, why am I getting a call here, this and that? Feeling pretty good about yourself, and it doesn't work that way. You find out things work the opposite. And when you focus on what you're doing, and you're happy about what you're doing, and you're proud of it, and you take tremendous pride and passion for what you're doing, things change. And they change in a hurry. I love this quote. All right? No one is bigger than the team. If you can't do things our way, you're not getting time here, and we don't care who you are. That's hard. That's especially hard when you're coaching football and you got a guy that's a 4-2 and can catch, run, and play. That's hard because he might be the best player on game day. That guy's going to show up. Everything in between, not very good. And that's frustrating. And it's frustrating for everybody out there. But for the greater good of the team, if you don't do something about it, then eventually the rest of your teams, the really good players, not the great players, but the really good ones that you have to have, the blue-collar, tough guys, they're not going to respect what you're doing. They're not going to buy into it, and eventually you're going to lose them. And that one player is not going to be as effective any longer. And so, you know, this right here, I mean, it's very, very difficult for some of these guys, some prima donnas and things like that come in and all, you know, high school, they've been patted on the back, and some guy that knows nothing about football gave them 5 stars, and they believe it. And their parents have told them how great they are, and they get here and they realize everybody's great. And so it's for them to understand, and they've got to buy into it, that it's not about those things. It has nothing to do with that. It's about a process. It's about the things that we've talked about. It's about being on the same mission as those in the room with you and doing those things. And being consistent from our standpoint and with the coaches is what changes that mentality, because I promise you they'll push the buttons until you go out there and you fire back. And you fire back about twice, and some of that involves playing time, then things change. And all of a sudden you got them right where you want them, and eventually they become a whole lot better than they ever would have been with the mentality of being selfish. Leads me into exactly this right here. All right, and this might be the most important thing that I've talked about so far. We have our goal, we have our style, we have a mentality. All right, we got some game changers in there. We got a way that our players are going to react in our culture, or how we're going to react to players in our culture when they don't respond the way we want them to, or they've got attitude. But it all comes down to this. And really, you're trying to surround yourself with A players everywhere. And that needs to be the mission of really everybody in our program and any company, is try to have A players, or help create A players, not a player, A plus players, all right, within your organization. And it's extremely important. But it also takes you as an individual, all right, to understand that in order to be one of those A players. And if you don't, then you probably don't fit. And so we talk about this. You win with people, self-disciplined people, people that don't have to be managed. We've all been around those type of people that you have to tell them the same thing every day, over and over and over. And they understand it. They just want to be told. You want to have people in your organization that are self-disciplined, that you can give them some autonomy to go out there and do their job. And eventually, when they do that, and you can be alone a little bit and have some lonely time of just working on your craft, you gain some mastery doing that. You become really good at what you do. You don't have somebody over your shoulder just chipping at you the whole day, telling you this and that and this and that. So if you show that you can be disciplined and do those things, then we talk about in football, hey, there's freedom within the framework of what we do. I'll give you a great example today. A quarterback, we have a play. It's very simple. It's versus man coverage. We're going to pick, and we're going to open up one guy, and all you have to do is throw to the one guy. We've made it very simple. You just throw to one guy. We ran it. Guess what? He did not throw to that one guy, okay? And I had to sit down and go, I won't say his name, but how much easier does it have to be of trying to help you out here and give you something just so, you don't have to even think about it? Well, I was trying to make it, no, not this time. There's freedom within the framework of what we do. Here's another example of a play that you can do that, not this time. And so they have to understand that. And, so that discipline to know those things and to know the details of it, it's important. But, we hope that our players, you hope you have Kellen Moores and Richie Brockles and those guys and Kyle Wilson's all over the place that just get it. I don't know if did you guys watch Kellen the other night? Did you guys see that? The drive towards the end there? Anybody see that? Yeah. What was so neat, we had there's some good and bad here. We had a chili cook-off that night the players made. That was not good. All right? But it wasn't good for the judges, I can tell you that. And there was some okay chili and some really bad. So anyways, but we all were in the team room. We're kind of relaxing and all that. We're all in the team room, and Kellen's up, and so the whole team's in there, and we're watching that drive. And you could just see it. I mean, you can just see a guy that's a really good football player that cares tremendously. He's just got a gift for playing the game. He gets it. And everybody in there, he scored, but leading up to it, it was silent. There was no hooping and hollering, and I was kind of watching the guys, and they're just looking at him like, wow. They know who he is. He's obviously been around the building. His pictures are all over the place and so on. But you could just see the guys looking at him, kind of a little bit daydreaming about, them being him and having that opportunity and so on. And then obviously when he scored, the place erupted and all that. But, he's one of those guys when you talk about, not having to manage him. I'd come in on Mondays, and Mondays were our day off, and I'd go to my office in the old building, and he sat in the receiver room, and he'd walk by and give me the peace sign, and he'd come out about 3 hours later, nod his head, and go, got it. And I don't know what he got, but he got it. He'd come in later that night, I'd put the game plan up, and he'd nod and go, like it. And if he ever went, I scratched it right away because I knew how smart he is. So very easy to coach a guy like that. All right, point him in the right direction, give him a couple ideas or thoughts, and let him go. And it shows up, and it continues to show up. Competitive, this is hard. Competitive, people that want to be good, people that want to win. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think being ultra competitive is important. The desire and the want to win. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Losing, you have valuable lessons from that. I get it. But wanting to win and having that desire to win the right way. We all have crybabies and things like that, and that when they lose and calling cheaters and don't call their own fouls in basketball and things like that. But hey, wanting to win, I think you've got to have that. What does that mean to you? How do you win? What's the end result? Maybe there isn't an end result. Maybe it's just a daily deal. Did I win the day? It's a model that Oregon's used for a long time, win the day. I mean, how simple is that? All right, you see a program when Chip Kelly took Oregon over, I mean, how good did they become from where they were? Win the day. How simple is that? Simple idea. And so we want people that are competitive. We want people that are not going to take no for an answer, that want to find a way to get it done, that it's really that important to them. Improve those around them. All right, I think the people, if you have the people that are going to win in your company or your program, they have to improve people around them. All right, can't be selfish. How do they do that? They do it by their actions. They do it by their words. But you have people there that want other people around them to achieve their goals. That's hard to do now. You have goals, you have dreams. What about the people around you? And you think about it now, if they achieve their goals and dreams, for example, as a coach, if our players achieve their goals and dreams, which they all want to play in the NFL, we won't lose a game. That's simple. And so if we can help them achieve those things, then we're going to be pretty good, which ultimately, personally, is going to help myself and our staff achieve our goals to win every single game. It's very simple. But people, I think, sometimes don't think of it like that, about helping the guy next to them, about helping the people around them to achieve their goals and making that even sometimes at a certain point more important than their own goal at that time. Because eventually it'll pay it back to yourself. So people that make those around them better is extremely important to us, and to surround yourself with those type of people. It's really simple. Think about it like this. Friends are like elevators, all right? They take you up or they take you down, all right? So surround yourself with people that create a better version of yourself, all right? Whether you like it or not, you might even be somebody that pisses you off, but somebody that challenges you and makes you better. Then that's who you need to be around, because you're becoming a better you. And then the people who understand this simple thing. Individuals win games, teams win championships. That's simple. We will win games because Matt Miller makes a catch. Individually makes a catch, one-handed, we'll win that game. All right, when it's all said and done, if we're playing in that championship game at the end of the year, it'll be because of our team. It won't be because of Matt Miller. It'll be because our team played well. Offense, defense, special teams, our coach did their job, and we had a team that believed in what they're doing in each other. And it's really that simple. Leadership. This one's hard. This one gets asked to me quite a bit. And our players, they'll come up individually, that not so much in a team setting, but they want to know, like, what's the formula? Like, tell me how to lead. Give me exactly like when and all that. And I really don't have a great answer for them. To me, I think leadership is needed. Leadership is provided when it's needed. That's really what it is. I think you provide leadership when it's needed. I think sometimes you sit back and just shut your mouth and don't say anything because somebody else has got it. And, as the head coach, I can say a lot of things there, but Coach Riddle, he talks to the team and says something to them. I can come in there and just say it because I want to have final word, or what was said was good enough. Let it go. So you got to be able to follow just as much as you lead. But it's about influencing people towards your goal. It's all about it. Leadership is influence. It's really that simple. And so, with our guys, again, I'm kind of a simpleton, but we got to keep it simple, all right, in our building there. And so I came up with this here. And this is things that I've seen over time. And, what is a team leader? Gives total commitment to the team. Number one, being a leader, it starts with you. All right? So you don't anoint yourself. You have to prove this. You have to prove you're a leader. So it starts with you. Do you have total commitment to what you're doing? Because if you don't, then people will see right through you in a hurry. Because they'll know, hey, in front of the coaches, you talk about this, you talk about that, and then behind closed doors, you do this and you do that. That's not commitment to the team. Seeks commitment from each member. So goes out there and makes sure that guys are doing it, and then he holds each member accountable to that commitment. That's what leadership is. That's how we've defined it. We've defined it very simply that you have to be bought into what we're doing before you can go out there and tell everybody else what to do. And if you do that and you have conviction, it's very simple. You can get up and you can speak without notes, all those things in front of people. You speak from your heart with passion, and then that's where you're going to get guys to follow you. Because they believe, they see that conviction in you, and they're going to follow you because of that. This was something that we had over the summer here. I don't know if you guys can see it that well. It's Be the Best. And within our B, that's kind of our pyramid of success. Within the B, it's all that, you can't see the words there. I know that. In the B, it's all dissected up, with values, championship characteristics, what we call the Bronco way, and so on. And we've covered that throughout camp so far. But we had these 10 things about Be the Best. And we did a letter series over the summer. So every coach, and I haven't written mine yet, I've got number 10. I'm saving that one. But every coach, 1 through 9, wrote a letter on each one of these things. 1, the best know what they want. 2, the best want it more. 3, the best are always striving to be better. 4, the best are mentally stronger. 5, the best adhere to excellence. We define excellence doing a common thing in an uncommon way. What everybody else does, just better. That's excellence. All right? We haven't done, I don't think we've run a play that probably hasn't been run somewhere at some point. We just do it better. We're kind of like 3M, that company. All right? We don't make the products you buy, we just make them better. Okay? The best believe in preparation and details. The best overcome their fears. The best make everyone around them better. Talked about that. The best seize the moment. And then lastly, the best leave a legacy. And in sports, you know what? I mean, when you're done, the best leave a legacy. You got to be memorable in sports to leave a legacy. So you have to do something special. All right, there's a lot of great players out there, but we know Jerry Rice, we know Joe Montana. They did special things, so they left a legacy. And if guys want to do that, then they got to find a way to be special in this sport. And so we talked about these things throughout the summer, and these are very important to us. And this board right here and the way it's designed is up in our locker room, and they see it every single day. And we question them on, hey, the best what? They know what they want. Let's start with that. Let's just work on that. Let's just keep that very simple with what the guys we have. The best know what they want. Coach, what do I want? All right. Okay, what are your goals? How are you gonna, what's your mentality to get there? All right? What's your style? And so on. Things that we have just covered. And the last thing, this is very important here. Surround yourself with those on the same mission as you. And I think that's what we're trying to accomplish. I know in our program we are, and we have the ability to recruit into our program. We have the ability to recruit coaches, operation people, and we have players, obviously, that fit into that. And so we'll sit in that staff room at times, and we'll have a player on film there, and he is really, really good. And then you go start looking into the other things, and they're not really good. And that's really not what the other guys in our team are about. And if you bring one of those guys in, they're going to smell a rat, and they're going to have to figure it out whether they like him or not, or whether we think he can fit in well enough with these guys for them to help him. And there's times that we have done that as well. But you want people around you on the same mission as you that believe in what you believe. And if you don't, you got to find ways to do that, or you got to get out. And so these are extremely important, in my opinion, to culture. All right? But I would say this about it, and I'll go back to it again. I think culture eats strategy. I really do. And when you have the right culture and you have the right people in place and you give them a chance to do their jobs, then you're going to have success. And so that's what we continue to work on. So I appreciate you guys and having this opportunity to speak. I'm going to open it up for questions here in a minute, but thank you very much. Go Broncos.